AITA for not letting my best friend have her wedding on my property after being uninvited. Carla, 31 female, one of my 29 male dearest pals, is getting married shortly. It's just going to be a modest backyard wedding, but they've been planning it for a few months, and it was initially intended to be on my property. They liked it because it is secluded, has enough of open space for the reception, has a lovely view, and the home can be utilized for them to get ready. Of course, I said yes, and she and her fiancé Rick were overjoyed. Carla and I do, however, have a history. We dated on and off throughout college, but ultimately chose to remain friends. Then I met my wife. We married, Carla met Rick, and now they are together. My wife now knows I dated Carla in college, and she doesn't care. Carla attended our wedding and everything. I never found out whether Rick was informed or not. It's not my relationship, thus it's not my business to say anything, so I didn't. Rick just recently discovered this, and not in the greatest manner. I'm not sure how, but one common buddy informed him, for whatever reason, that we used to date. Not only that, but Carla allegedly said a few years back that she was still in love with me, even though she was already dating Rick. I don't have any real confirmation whether that's what he was informed. Carla has just informed me that Rick was told of our history, and that he is unhappy at her for not saying anything. It became quite a drama, and I haven't heard from her in over a month. She informed me that they are going to couples therapy and that the wedding is still going forward. Rick, on the other hand, urged that I not attend. It stinks, but I see why he wouldn't feel at ease. Then I posed the obvious question: where would the wedding be held? She surprised me by saying they still want it at our house. Rick said the same thing, and I'm thinking to myself, he doesn't want the person who dated his fiancée years ago at the wedding, but he still wants the wedding at his home. My wife and I are expected to simply not be at home that weekend, and I assured Carla that was not the case. They'll have to find another somewhere to stay since we're not going to leave our house to them for the weekend. Not only is it unsafe, but it also makes no sense. Rick doesn't want me around because he isn't at ease, but is he at ease enough to hold their wedding at my home? They truly want their wedding here, and as a result, I've been hounded by not just her, but also Rick and other friends who believe I'm a jerk for not allowing them have it here anymore. I honestly don't believe I am. It simply doesn't make sense to leave our own house for a wedding we're no longer invited to, leaving our home completely defenseless. Still, I'm being accused of spoiling their wedding, and Rick says it's the least I can do given all that's happened. Update: a lot has transpired lately, and many of you have asked for an update. Thank you for reassuring me and understanding my choice, while it seems that many others in my circumstance did not. I stood strong in my refusal to allow them use my property for their wedding. Even if they changed their minds about inviting us, which, to be honest, I don't care about, Rick's family, thanks to him, got a hold of my phone, so that added to the number of individuals I had to deal with. I put my foot down with Rick a few days ago, telling him openly that I will go to the police and file harassment charges against him. I have all the text and calls documented. I also had a lengthy conversation with Carla about all that was going on. She apologized for everything, and she realizes it's all her fault. In the end, she opted to be the one to call things off. Some of my pals still appear to blame me, so I'm keeping my distance from them for the time being. Also from Carla after I had some confirmation on a couple items I wanted to know. The whole thing is a shambles. I'm simply grateful that I didn't cave to their demands and that the incessant nagging has ceased. It was still a major headache during the previous several days, and it's not the kind of drama I want back in my life. Thank you to everyone who made me feel like I was not alone in this. It felt a lot better not to be the only one, apart from my wife, who thought their demand was absurd and improper. Story 2. AITA for telling my nurse if I wanted her opinion, I would have asked for it. I, a 26-year-old female, am embarking on an uphill struggle to tie my tubes. My PCP is on board with it, but informed me that I'd have to go through GIN since the operation is performed by them. She submitted my recommendation, and one of the nurses called today to schedule my appointment. The nurse inquired whether I was attempting to schedule an appointment to replace my IUD and if I was experiencing any difficulties. I said that I was attempting to schedule an appointment to discuss having my tubes tied. Over the phone, I could hear her open disdain. She began telling me that they don't enjoy conducting these surgeries on people my age, that I could find a guy and want to have a kid with him, that I don't want to end up old and alone, and so on. She told me she thinks I'd be a great mother, which is not true, and that I'm simply afraid of being pregnant, not of being a mother. I became so irritated that I yelled out, "I simply need your assistance in setting up an appointment." If I wanted your thoughts on my physique and future, I'd ask. My male buddy was in the room and informed me that there was no need for me to be so nasty to the nurse and that she was only trying to help me think about things rationally. I honestly don't believe I was in AH, but I'm sure the nurse believes it and my buddy does. So, how about AITA? I awoke and ripped my email. Thank you, everyone, for your ideas and encouragement. I need to do a lot of reading and research. I had no idea there were so many sterilizing alternatives available to me. I intend to report this nurse, but someone who isn't as strong-willed as me may be persuaded or coerced out of it. That thing bothers me. Another item to add is that the nurses make appointments and plan everything. This Skin, officially a women's health clinic, office is designed exclusively for individuals suffering from PTSD, cancer, high-risk, severe womanly diseases, and gynecological trauma. The aim is to solely chat with medical experts so that you have continuous access to individuals who, allegedly, know what they're talking about. The nurses rotate on a monthly basis, so some will be on the floor while others will be at reception. My ex-friend blew apart our friendship like a bomb. He was essentially a neckbeard in a closet. My checkup is scheduled for later this month. If anything noteworthy occurs, I'll provide an update, as several folks have requested. Update. So, no one was surprised when the response was no. My gynecologist, Dr. O, chatted with me for a little about an hour, and her key points were, she doesn't like to undertake the surgery on women under the age of 30. She informed me at the conclusion of our conversation that she was willing to do it when I turned 28. Last month, she had a patient who requested that her sterilization be reversed. The lady was a divorcee at the time of sterilization and said that she did not desire children. 3 years later, she finds the love of her life and wishes to have a child with him. That's a sad tale, but what does it have to do with me? Of course, there is the age-old question. What if you meet a guy and want to have children with him? What if you and your partner decide to have a family? Her last rationale was that it was a serious treatment, and she didn't want to dish them out like candy. I informed her that I'd been inquiring about this since I was 20, and that I'd been told, although in a different state, that 25 was the optimum age for consideration. She was surprised to learn that I desired this for so long, which is why she consented to perform surgery at 28 rather than 30. She continued implying that I could desire children, so I recognized something crucial. My nomenclature for this project has to be revised. I instructed Dr. O to leave the kids out of it. Remove all the children from the photo. I do not want to be able to become pregnant. I spent a good 5-8 minutes explaining why I don't want it and how the thought makes me nervous. I even began to worry at work when discussing the possibility of being pregnant. It remained deafeningly I decided to seek a second opinion from a male gynecologist, which is where Dr. B comes in. Dr. B and I had a lengthy and fascinating visit. He was really helpful and encouraged me to make another appointment with Dr. O. He provided me with talking points and loads of useful advice on how to make this happen. He believes that if I bother him enough and follow his advice and talking points, Dr. O will do the operation. If I didn't get surgery scheduled by January, he said he would personally assist me in finding a physician outside of the VA. Dr. B stated he would gladly do the operation for me, but he can't since he no longer has access to the surgical area. He's on his way out so he can retire, so he no longer does operations and does nothing that can't be done in the clinic. This is all I have to report. I'm going to keep pushing until this is completed. Thank you to everyone who checked in to see how things were going.